Madagascar. It's an amazing island full of interesting animals, like lemurs jumping around and chameleons changing their colors. But it's not just about the special animals. It also has a really interesting story about its people. It's a story about being brave, finding new things, and making it through tough times. This island is bigger than the country of France, and it's near the coast of Africa. Yet its story started a long, long way away across big oceans. It's like a big play about people moving, different ways of life coming together and making something brand new. The story of Madagascar's people sometimes gets hidden by all the talk about its animals. But it's a story that needs to be told. It tells us about amazing trips across the sea, new communities built from nothing, and a strong spirit that doesn't give up. So let's go back in time, about 2,000 years, to see how people first came to this island and how their history made Madagascar what it is today. A journey to understand what makes the Malagasy people who they are. About 2,000 years ago, the first people came to Madagascar. They didn't come from Africa, which is close by. Instead, they came all the way from Southeast Asia, which is very far away. Brave sailors from a place called Borneo sailed across the big Indian Ocean. They used special boats called outrigger canoes. That was an amazing thing to do. They brought their language, tools, and the plants they grew for food. You can still see fields of rice called rice paddies in the high parts of Madagascar. The language they spoke is called Austronesian. It's the start of the Malagasy language spoken today. This connects them to places like Indonesia and the Philippines. Later on, people from East Africa also came. They brought their own ways of doing things and their own knowledge. These different groups of people mixed together and married each other. This made a new and special culture. This mix of Asian and African backgrounds is what makes Madagascar so special. You can see this mix in the people, what they do, their art and their music. All these cultures mixing together like in a big melting pot made the Malagasy people. They have their own special way of being. As more people lived there and their groups got bigger, strong kingdoms started to form. One of the most important ones was the Merina Kingdom. It was in the middle, high part of the island, and it brought different groups of people together. Around the 1700s and 1800s, the Merina kings and queens made their kingdom bigger and more modern. They even helped create a way to write the Malagasy language. Near the sea, the Sakalava kingdoms did very well. They were good at trading things and sailing ships. Madagascar became a very important place for trade in the Indian Ocean. Ships came from places like Arabia, Persia, India, and later on from Europe. They traded things like goods and ideas. Sadly, people were also traded as slaves. In return, they got things like cloth, tools, and weapons. All this trading and meeting new people brought new ideas and made the Malagasy culture even richer. But these things also hinted at tough times that were coming. Madagascar wasn't just a lonely island all by itself. It was always connected to other parts of the world. Countries in Europe wanted Madagascar for a long time. They wanted it because it was in a good spot and had things they could use. Portugal, Britain, and France were all interested. But in the 1800s, France really pushed to take it. The Malagasy rulers like Queen Ranavalona III tried to stop them, but France took over Madagascar in 1896. They got rid of the king and queen system, and the queen was sent away from her home. The local people kept fighting back, but they were stopped in a very hard way. When France was in charge, they took Madagascar's valuable things to sell in French markets. They built things like roads and buildings, but mostly to help France, not the Malagasy people. The Malagasy people were forced to work, they lost their land, and they had to pay a lot of taxes. Gap 2S. Their old way of life was messed up. Schooling was not much, and it was meant to teach them to just obey. French became the main language for government and official things. Yet, even with all this, the Malagasy people kept their own special way of being, deep down. They really wanted to rule themselves again. This feeling was growing stronger, like water about to boil. The idea of being free started to grow quietly, even while the French flag, the tricolor, was flying. After World War II, many people in Africa and Asia started asking for their freedom much more loudly. In Madagascar, a group of people who wanted their country to be free became stronger. In 1947, people rose up to fight, but they were stopped very harshly. Still, everyone wanted freedom so much that nothing could stop that feeling. On June 26, 1960, Madagascar finally became free. The first few years were hopeful, but there were also problems with the government and with money. Today, Madagascar has many challenges. These include people being poor problems with the government and being easily affected by changes in the weather, like climate change. People are working to make the government better, to have more different kinds of businesses, and to have tourism that helps the country without hurting it. Protecting Madagascar's special animals and plants is now very important for the whole country. The Malagasy people are strong and good at finding ways to solve problems. They get their strength from their special, mixed culture and history. Their story shows they have a spirit that doesn't give up. Their journey is still going on. Yes, there are problems, but they also have dreams that